Um, Hi, Tatiana. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How's your studying going?
I have nothing to say. I fell off the wagon. I haven't studied.
Hey, accountability. Welcome to the Wednesday, or it's Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday accountability. Have you decided to postpone though and apply next cycle?
Yes, I want to take, well, they took July away, so I guess August. I want to take the test.
Okay. Um, so what I would do is I would study like I'm taking it in June, but secretly know I'm taking it in August.
See, I thought the same thing because I'm debating between June and
Don't
I
actually
wanted to
sign
take
up for June. Don't sign up for June. Just study with the intensity of taking it in June, but be okay with taking it in August.
okay.
Because I think that just like knowing you a little bit, where like you work hard when you have goals, right? And like you have deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it to be paralyzing. So I don't want it to be too much. But I don't want you to be passive because you have time to wait. But what are your thoughts on that?
No, you're right. You're right. That's how like when I first started taking the test. Well, when I first started studying, I was like, okay, for instance, like I took May Flex, but I was just like, before studying May Flex, I was like, I'm going to take it in, I think it was January. But
Mhm.
then I ended up taking May. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you know what? I actually am going to have a complete mindset change here. Like, why do we ask people when they're taking their test, Jasmine? Because honestly, like a lot of us probably don't know when we're taking our test because it depends on like how quickly we get to where we need to be to take it.
I like to ask people so I get a sense of how unrealistic their timeline is. And I don't mean that to be elitist, but truly, like some people have it burned in their brain. I'm taking it on this day. And so I'd rather just ask that up front rather than saying, hey, I think you should take this one based off of your timeline or building a new timeline for you. This is what I think. Because ultimately, like people have to kind of accept for themselves, like what is their situation and what's going to make them most successful with the least amount of stress.
Stress, debt, and time.
Stressed out in time.
That's what I like struggle with because so I just graduated in May. I got a degree in child advocacy and I minored in paralegal. And then I wanted to go for my master's and then go to law school. But now I keep seeing so many people go to school for a master's of law. So like now I'm like conflicted between the two. And I think it's mainly like time and money. And I don't know, I'm all over the place. I'm like motivated and not unmotivated. And then I don't want to do it. Then I want to do it.
I have so many questions for you, but first, Jasmine will be able to talk specifically about child advocacy. I think. Well, I guess you're in education; it's not quite the same thing, but she's definitely looking at dual degree programs and can probably speak to that a little bit. But my one question for you is, and you don't have to answer this if you don't like. I had undergrad student loan debt that um impacted when I went to law school. Are you in a similar situation where you do have under like student loan debt?
Yeah, I have a federal grant.
Okay. Um, So there's two options that you have where one is to study like do you have I know that you were looking for a job with the COVID. Are you because like right because there were any jobs when you graduated, correct?
No, like, so I didn't know when I went into this program, I didn't know this was like more social work versus like not really legal based. Like, I like it for like juvenile justice, but like in reality, child advocacy is more of like social work. Everyone goes into the social work field. So that's like not really my interest. And that's what like the jobs are. They want people who are going to school to get their master's in social work or have like a social work minor. And like that's not the case for me. I like the law side of everything.
Have you ever considered just like serving or doing something that can bring in money with like limit like so I quit my job and became a server at a restaurant because it wasn't a forever job. I didn't love the hours. It didn't have great benefits, but it did make a good hourly wage to support me while I was studying for the LSAT and it wasn't it wasn't like mindfully stressful, but I could still pay my bills and like pay off some of my student debt. Um And then and I could really like my priority could be the LSAT. Is that like kind of an option for you, or are you nervous about having a gap on your resume?
Um, well, see, I was a substitute teacher, so I was doing that. I live in Jersey, so like things are starting to like slowly open up, but like very slowly. So like even getting a server job is actually really hard.
Do you think that it's something that like you could, I trust that it's very hard. Do you think like it's something that will change in the next month or two where you could be applying and know it might take a month or two to get?
Yeah, it's like the frustrating part is they want like unrealistic um what is this years of like what is it like experience.
Of serving?
Yeah, like so I even applied. So I was a server for like on and off. I was a bev cart girl on and off,
Oh,
but
so
they like
like,
want
you've lived this. I put myself through school off on serving, so that's where the question is coming from.
so people are like, we want someone who's been like consistent in the field, and I'm like, okay.
Well, maybe there will be more of a demand once restaurants start opening back up, where they're like, okay, we need to hire people that are able to
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah, so like they just lifted our 10 p.m. curfew, I think, to like 12 now.
Okay. Um, I'm a hermit right now, so like I don't even think about how everything works. I just don't leave. Those are just some of my thoughts. The other thing is, okay, because I guess one thing that I've really thought about is where do I want to be in 5 years? And I can be where I want to be in 5 years, starting law school at a different period. Like, like, and so I say all that where for me, where I want to be, I don't want to graduate from law school with 100 grand in debt. Like that terrifies me to the nth degree. And so I invest, like I have waited 2 years now to go to law school, but where I want to be in 5 years from now, like, yeah, I'll graduate law school later, but I'm not going to have this debt. So even though it'll take me longer to get a higher salary, like I'm not going to be paying that off. And I can't even imagine like the mental stress of having to pay that off and like owing the government something like makes me sick. And I don't even know why I'm on this rampage today because I am now looking at paying for law school and it scares me. Like I'm like, what am I doing?
I'm procrastinating. I'm not looking until after I do my taxes.
um, and so I'm saying all this for you, right? You're in such a cool situation because how old are you? If you don't mind. Sorry, I don't mean to ever ask questions that are like attacking you. I mean them also like I mean them for me to offer like more intentional advice.
What's your question?
How old are you?
Oh, so I just turned 28 in August.
28. Okay. So honestly, like what's the difference of starting law school at 28 or 29? Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, and the schema thing, like if we can get through COVID and like I don't feel that much older and I feel like life has been on hold, like what is a year, right? I mean, not, I don't want to diminish the severity of COVID by any means, but like it's hard to for me, it's hard to believe that it's already been a year, to be honest. Like, and it's like, you know what? Like a year is not that long. If we have to wait, if that means less debt, less mental stress in law school, getting into a better, potentially a better law school, or not having to work as much in law school and getting to focus on your studies and set yourself up for success so that you can maybe do externships or internships because you're going into a field that obviously isn't the highest paying and you want to be able to work in what you want to like you want to be able to work in the field that your heart is passionate about and not feel like this at least this is me. I would feel that weight. Do you agree with any? I don't even know if this is your question, so I apologize.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, so
And
when
I was to discourage you, when I tell people this, it's not to tell you that you can't do what you want.
No, I want to do it. I want to do it. This is something I want. This is something I want to do. Thankfully, like my financial situation, like I could not work and like do law school, but like then like getting a job, it would be like my responsibility because it's like my debt. Do you know what I mean?
Is this not Tatiana Rodriguez?
No, it is. It's me.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry. Okay. I thought you were younger than 28, to be honest.
Huh?
I thought you were younger than 28, to be honest.
Everyone tells me that.
Okay. So the financial situation is that you are okay to get through law school, you said?
Like, so basically it's me and my boyfriend for 9 years. We lived together and we just like marriage is like, it is what it is. Like, it's not one of those things that it's like a priority to us. Do you know what I mean? We live together. We share the same finances. Like, I'm thankful enough. Like, I can stay home. Like, I have a small business. I do like little crafting. So I make money like here and there and like the subbing. Um, So like my intention was do law school straight through, like not work, but then like that is on me. And what I want to do is, and everyone says I'm crazy, like I want to do like nonprofit stuff.
Yeah,
So that's
I think these are super honest questions where you have to ask yourself, what's more important to me? Getting to do nonprofit stuff earlier or starting law school now?
So everyone's like, you're insane to get all this debt just to like not make any money. And I'm like, well, I want to help people. Like, because I was in a situation younger where, very like, growing up in the city and not having the resources. And
Well,
so I want to give,
you're exactly who people need as their attorney
yeah.
because you've experienced it.
So the money's not a thing. I just want, like, to me now, I just want to get it over with. Like, I feel like I'm a forever student. I love going to school. Like, I love being a student. So I think it's harder for me to study on my own because I don't have that structure. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a deadline.
Considering doing our boot camp again?
Yeah.
It starts on Saturday. I know that you did it last time. And it's 6 weeks this time, and you do get a significant discount by doing it again. But I do think that would be helpful to you. What school do you want to go to?
So since I can't relocate, and the only two closest schools to me is Rutgers and Seton Hall.
Oh, okay. And then what I'm looking up their 509 reports. What is your undergrad GPA?
So my undergrad GPA when I graduated from university was a 3.8, but it got converted to a 2.5 or 7, 2.7, 2.5. I can't remember.
Oh.
Because I moved out. My mom didn't want to sign any of my financial aid. So like I didn't, and then I didn't have a car. So when that year I moved out, like I failed all my classes. And then I retook them.
That's an easy GPA addendum, but why? So you like, but how? Oh, because so your FCA or LSAT converted your fails to hurt your GPA.
Yeah. So I went like the cheaper route. I did community college, stopped. I couldn't afford it. And then I paid the debt off, I paid that off, went back. And then the last 2 years, so 2018 to 2020, I did the 2 years straight and I was on high honors. So that is
so impressive. Like that's an easy GPA addendum. Do you agree, Jasmine? I feel like I'm dominating this conversation just because my heart's pounding in excitement for you. So I'm looking at their scores. So I know Seton Hall for sure gives full ride scholarships. 2 splitters to be particular. So they don't have an overly high. So I'm looking at right now, I can show this to you. More share screen.
and I'm kind of like kicking myself in the ass because now it's going to, when I want to take the test, it's going to 4 sections. Or I'm like, man, I had the opportunity to just do the 3.
It won't be a huge difference for you, and you get a bathroom break, so that's kind of nice. Not I don't want to diminish it, but you'll be fine. Like it's worth the higher score. So it's looking like Rutgers 75th percentile GPA is a 158. So 160 there, like you're looking at a good scholarship. They give out 97 8% of their class gets more than full tuition. Like you want to be in that 8%. Like whatever you can do between now and June, like treat it like you're giving yourself $200,000 by studying for this test. Like that, like when in your life are you going to make $250 an hour other than studying for the LSAT? Like it's a actually we are blessed to get to study for the LSAT. That might be a stretch. And then it's looking like Seton Hall is a 160. So it's still 160 and they get full rides. Like that could change your life.
Yeah, the one of my classmates, she got into Seton Hall with like a pretty good scholarship with a 150.
So I'm sure that she probably has another like great thing going for her, or maybe she has a really high GPA. Like, because like the opposite is true of high GPAs too, right? Like you can
She
have
did have a high GPA, but
where
she
like it's the
also went
opposite
in.
splitter. Like they're like, oh wow, she has a 3.9. And some people are just bad test takers, and that's an addendum as well. But where are you scoring right now if you would take a practice test?
I bumped up from our last one that we